We wait for a few minutes. Just few people here.
All right, let me share. Now there are two options. There will be two options. First, um, you want how many people today attend Tuesday class, Tuesday Tuesday review class? Raise your hand and let me know how many people here attend Tuesday class. Anyone attend Tuesday class? Tuesday online class? No one? Okay, if there's no one attend Tuesday class, then I have to say all again. Now, anyone attend Tuesday class? Or all of you just did not attend Tuesday class, right? Okay, so no problem. So I have to review everything again. Có bao nhiêu bạn dự cái buổi hôm thứ ba vừa rồi? Có bạn nào dự hôm thứ ba vừa rồi không? Không có đúng không? À, that's a lot of people. Only three. And only three. And if only three, then so what should we do? We have to review again. Review again or continue the review. Cái buổi hôm trước hay là review lại từ đầu. Thì các bạn vào cái home. Có 2 người vote là bây giờ chúng ta có 15 bạn. Có 15 bạn mà có 2 bạn tham gia vote. 6. Bạn 6, 15 bạn, các bạn vote hết đi, 15 bạn các bạn phải vote, có khoảng 12 bạn, 13 bạn. Now we have 3 mean 3 want to continue and 3 want to start from the Okay, so this afternoon I have to review everything from the beginning, right? Even though we mentioned that one in the last TA section. Now, the exam will be 50 questions, and include 3 learning outcomes. The first learning outcome is a theory. It means that there's no calculation, just something about theory, something about the knowledge, right? And the second learning outcome is ability to calculate and solve problem. And it normally like calculation, a lot of calculation. And learning outcome number 3, it includes calculation, but it's a little bit difficult, than the learning outcome number 2. So the exam would have about 50 questions, and we have 3 parts. Now the problem will be, I will scale, for example, the best, last exam, the best student got 21. But I mean, no, the best student got 22, and the best student got 23. However, I take only 21 to get 60, 46, and 21, 46. So even you get 23 correct answer, you still get 46. You mean 23 will be the same as 21, right? And so, and this one, we got 4 questions equal to, right? 4 questions equal to 8. Right. So that would be a problem like this. Even one student, they got 22, 23, but only 1 correct answer here. So what will be the score of this person? Anyone, can you guess what is the score of this person? What will be the score of this person? What will be the score of this person? Can you guess? So they got 46, and this one only 2. So this one got 94. Even they got 22 here, 23 here, but we cannot compensate for another part, right? So you try to allocate your time for all the 3 parts, because 3 parts are different. So the question from 1 to 23 will be the first part, 24 to 42 will be the second one, and then another for 46, right? And the remaining 4 will be the last one. You see what I mean? So this is the exam question. We have 3 parts, and depend on learning outcome, right? And the exam will be closed book, no that, just bring calculator and pen, and everything you write on the exam itself. All right, so this is the structure of the exam. Now, and for midterm, any questions about the structure of the exam? Any questions about the structure of the exam? Any questions?
Can you explain one more time about the scale?
Now, it means that normally I will not take 23 to be the maximum score, but normally if we have maximum 23 questions, right? But normally I will take 20, or let's say if I take 20, it depends on the result of your class. If I take 20 equal to 46. Now, if the student got 22, 20, and 2, for example, so this person got 90, 96, 96. If this person got even this one, he still have 96. Because the last learning outcome, this person get only 50%. All right. So in this case, 3 separate parts. You cannot use this one to compensate for another part. Right. So if you got this case, if someone do very well for the first one, even you do 20 very well for this one, but if you do this one only like 10, then if this one will be 46. This one will be 46. This one will be 23, and this one will be 4, and the sum will be how much? 64 or 73. You see the point? If this person do very well for the first part, but not very well for the second part, you cannot use this one to compensate for another one, right? So in this case, this person got only 73. Okay. So the exam will be like, I will don't worry much about this one. I just tell you that you should spend time for own sections. Do not focus on one section. If you do very well for the first section, but you do not do well for the second one, you lose score, right? So we need to do on 3 sections of the exam. Okay, so that is about the structure of the exam. Any questions so far? It's okay? Is it okay? All right, if have no question, we go directly to the review, right? Now, so the exam will be only 2 chapters. Chapter 1 about basic economic concept, and chapter 2 is supply demand. Until what we have learned. Next week we still have one more section about international trade. International trade. That is the last part of the chapter 2. Right now, what will be in the fourth chapter? The fourth chapter we have the following concept: basic concept, including the opportunity cost, right? Circular flow, factor of production, right? And 3 basic questions, right? And the concept of market failure, BPF, right? Specialization, and change, right? Absolute advantage, comparative advantage, right? That's some and then some more concept like macro versus micro versus macro, and now and positive statement, right? That basic concept. Make sure that you know on the basic concept like this. Do you remember the basic concept? Do you remember on one concept called invisible? Actually, invisible and those are the concepts that the question may ask you related to definition or explanation of the concept and how to interpret the concept. Okay, so this part is a theory one. Now for the calculation, so in this chapter, what do you have to calculate? You have to calculate first. You have to calculate the opportunity cost, right? And calculate mean calculate the opportunity cost, calculate the what we call, sometimes we just interpret no, not really. You can explain the diagram on this one PDF, right? So the diagram we have already mentioned in class, right? You have the curve, and then I give you a curve, and then you have to figure out the opportunity cost, right? The company can specialize and exchange. Now let's take an example. The question. Last time, can you accept to Socrates? Can you accept to Socrates? Can you accept to Socrates? And then I already showed you last time, but let me show you this. Okay. Now let me show you this way. I give you a diagram. The diagram like this, and then I will ask you. And I ask you, calculate the. Can you see it? Can you see?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Okay. And I give you a diagram, and based on the diagram, you have to calculate the opportunity cost already. So it could be some diagram. And last time I already, so based on the diagram, you can calculate the opportunity cost. For example, find the opportunity cost of producing car in country B, right? And you can do like take 240 divided by 40, and we have that number. But sometimes the exam will be I ask you to see the situation like this, and I say that this is the PPF curve for the country, and this is the PPF curve of that country, and we have to give the reason. We have to give the reason why they have situation like this or this situation. And I explained this already, but then you know that the reason why the PPF curve change like this. So anyone tell me, when the PPF curve change like this, what is the reason? Let's say this is Y, this is X, this is the product Y, and it's the product X. What is the reason? What is the reason for the change in the PPF curve like this? What is the reason? And the multiple choice questions say that this country have more input. This country can specialize and exchange with other country. And this country, the productivity of product X increase, productivity of product Y increase. Anyway, that can be the multiple choice question. But before you wait for the multiple choice question, you can look at the diagram and answer right away the reason that caused the shift of the PPF curve like this. What is the reason? Anyone remember know the reason why the production possibly be frontier like this?
In my opinion, I think that the country have specialized in one thing and trade another thing to another country.
Do you agree with Queen? Everybody else, do you agree with Queen? Is it because the country specialize in exchange? Do you agree with Queen? If you agree, raise your hand. If you agree with Queen, raise your hand. Yeah, many people raise their hand, right? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Now, this is not because specialization and exchange. Specialization and exchange doesn't change the PPF curve. Specialization and exchange doesn't change. We remember that we specialize in exchange. There's nothing changed in the PPF curve. Do you remember that? How the curve changed?
Yes.
Now, how the curve changed? Look at the diagram like this. Look at the diagram like this, right? The diagram look like this, right? But how the curve changed? How the curve like this is now it's 36. It's up. It's shift to 41. When it's shift to 40. When this one, like country B, right? If I change this one to 18, and you see right away, is it right? So what is the reason? What is the reason? What is the reason for the curve to rotate? What is the reason for the curve to rotate like this? It's rotate on X. This one rotate on Y. So what is the reason?
The labor.
No, not the labor. Now, you have to think about how we draw the PPF curve. With the same amount of input, originally we have this amount of Y, right? Now with the same amount input, we have more product Y.
Change the productivity.
Exactly. The reason for this shift is the increase in productivity of what? Of X or Y. X or Y. In the first diagram, the increase in productivity of X or Y. Y, exactly, Y, right? For the second diagram, there is increase in productivity of Y, right? X, not Y. So in this case, if they draw diagram like this and they ask you the reason and you know how to answer, right? And if the curve will be like this, what will be the reason? What will be the reason? Anyone? What will be the reason if the curve, like the whole curve shift, not rotate, right? The whole curve shift to the right, not rotate. Do you know the reason? Yes, increasing input. Anything else? Anything else? Any other reason? Any other reason? That one of the reason will be we have more input, right? Any other reason? Any other reason that we can shift the whole PPF curve to the right? Apart from the reason that we have more input, any other reason that shift the whole PPF curve to the right? Anyone? Very simple reason. Combine with this one. Combine with this one. Combine with this one. In this case, the productivity of both product increase. The productivity of both product increase. Of course, it's not parallel or not. It cannot be parallel, but maybe it looks like this one, right? It's not really parallel with the original one, but we know that, okay, maybe because we have more input, or maybe because productivity of both product increase. Okay, so you know that how to explain PPF curve. And the last one, if the PPF curve is not straight line, but it has a bow shape, it means a curve like this. It's non-linear curve like this. So what is the reason? What is the reason that make the production possibility frontier got the non-linear like this? What is the reason? What is the reason?
Because we're increasing the opportunity cost.
Exactly. Exactly. It's very good. Because increasing opportunity cost. Because when we are here, right, and we increase this amount of, this is Y, right? This is X. So you got additional X, you sacrifice little Y, right? However, in this range, if you move from this point to this point, right, you sacrifice a lot to get additional X, right? The same amount X genes, but you have to sacrifice a lot. So increasing opportunity cost explain the reason why you have the nonlinear or bow shape PPF curve. Okay, and when will we have the straight line PPF? We have the trade line BPF because we have a trade BPF because anyone give me the reason? Why the BPF curve got the trend line? Why? Yeah, learning online at noon is very sleepy, right? Why is it trend line, not above it? What is the reason? What is the reason for the PPF curve got a trend line like this?
I think the productivity is the same, so it's the straight line.
Exactly. Productivity constant is same. The slope, even because the slope is constant, so productivity is the what they call the opportunity cost is the same, not productivity is the same. The opportunity cost is the same, because when we have increasing opportunity cost like this, we have this one. In this case, we have the constant opportunity cost. This one we have changing opportunity cost, right? But in this case, the slope or the opportunity cost is almost the same for every quantity. Okay, so that's about PPF curve calculation. And then the question may be like this. If the country allocate, like equally allocate this resource, how many units they produce, and then you can look at the diagram and you can answer right away. So the first chapter, the calculation is quite simple. Any questions about the first chapter? Any questions about the first chapter? Any question about the first chapter? Let me find some questions.
Teacher, can you say again the exchange, because I'm not clear about this?
Okay, we'll wait for a while. Now, look at this one. Now we have this situation like this, right? Now, this situation, we have now do this one better, this one better. Now this situation, we have a situation that two countries producing rice and cars, all right, and two countries producing rice and car. However, in this case, country A have lower productivity than country B, and therefore country B, you see that the PPF curve is outside. I mean outside, and bigger. We have more output than the country A. So the country B have more output in country A because country B has higher productivity, even though they have the same amount of input. Now, at this point, it's okay, right? Everything until this point is okay. Until this point, it's okay, right? You're just concerned about how can we have the number. Is it right? Is it what you? It is what your it is your questions?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now, if two countries do not know each other, they do not know each other, right? So they can produce for their own product. Right? They may share 50% of their input to produce rice and 50% of input to produce cotton. So up to this point, everything okay, right? And you see. However, two countries want to have more rice and more cars, and therefore they will specialize. But before they specialize, they have to look for the comparative advantage. comparative advantage means even country A doesn't have any absolute advantage. However, if you look at this one, country A still have the lower opportunity cost to produce car. In country A, we need only 4 rice for car, but country B, we need six rice for the car. And therefore, we can say that country A has comparative advantage to produce car. So A will focus on produce car. However, if they spend on labor to produce car, they do not have any rice. Now, the country B will look at this one. The country B look at this one. Country B say, if we do not trade with each other, and we have 38 cars. Now, A already produced 36, and both countries want that after specialization and exchange, we will have more cars. For example, let's say each country will have 1 more cars, and therefore this one 18, this one 20. So if each country have 1 more car, we have 19 and 21. So it means that they should have 40. But A already produced 36, therefore B should produce 4 or 5 more. 4 or 5 more. Now what if they produce 5? 4 is the original solution, right? I just changed to 5. Now after doing this one, if after producing 4 cars, how many labor that is already consumed by multiplied by 18, right? And this is the remaining labor. They used 90 labor already. So this is the remaining labor. So they have 630 labor left. With 630 labor left, this country can produce 210 rice. Is it okay until now? Is it okay? Now next, after specialization, we have 40 car and 210 rice. So then we exchange. How many car I will keep? How many car I will keep? I will keep car for themselves, for their own consumption. How many cars they should keep? How many? Anyone? A has a lot of car, right? But no rice. Therefore, they have to exchange car for rice. But before they exchange car for rice, they have to keep for their own consumption first. How many can they keep? Anyone? Please don't sleep.
19.
Exactly, 19. They keep 19, right? So how many car I will sell to B? How many car?
17.
Yeah, exactly. This one. Minus this one. 17. And the B also produce 5, right? So B will have 22. The next question would be, if I sell car to B, so B has to give something back. Or in another words, what will be the price for 1 car when they exchange? What will be the price? What will be the price? What will be the price? You know, in country A, one car for 4 rice. In country B, one car for 6 rice. So for A, if they can sell any price more than 4, then A will be happy. For B, if B can buy any car with a price lower than 6 price, and they happy. They are happy. So the answer, we can get something in between, right? And A will sell 17 car, right? And multiply by 5. So A and B have more cars and price. And this specialization and exchange only give them more output, but it doesn't shift the supply curve, the PPF curve to the right. Okay? Any questions so far? Any questions? All right. So it's about the chapter number 1. Chapter number 1, including the first 3 chapters in the book. The first 3 chapters. The chapter number 1, basic concept. Chapter number 2 is a thing. Yes, right. And exchange based on the comparative and absolute advantage, right? Remember to distinguish between absolute and comparative advantage. Okay? Any questions so far about the chapter 1, basic econ concept? Okay, if you have no question, we take a break for 10 minutes before we move to the chapter 2. We take a break for 10 minutes. So okay, we come back at 12:55. We come back at 12:55. Okay. And you can access to Socrates to do some question over there.
You've got the idea. GoDaddy has the domain to make it happen. Find your domain at godaddy.com.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, welcome back. Any questions? Raise your hand to make sure that you come back. Raise your hand if you are back. Thank you very much. But I see only just a few hands. Right. Learning online at noon is quite sleepy, and I had to make a 2 cup of coffee. Any question before we continue? Any questions? My student, she got an online shop, and then she advertises one. You know, the coffee house. The coffee house, they have their own what they call online shop, and then this online shop they sell trà sữa, and they sell off 50%. Anyone got the link can got the hot deal 50% for milk tea. Have you ever tried this product? Have you ever tried this kind of product from? This is the this is the link. This is the coffee house product, and currently it's dropped 50%. Buy one get one. If you want to buy, just click on that link and buy. I didn't try this one before. Anyway, come back. Let's start. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? If you go to that website without my link, you cannot see buy one get one. All right. Questions? No question, and we continue for chapter 2, right? Chapter 1, basic concept. Now we come to chapter 2, a lot of calculation. Chapter 2 have several concepts. The first one will be 2.1. 2.1 will be supply demand. There's no calculation, but there will be an analysis question. Number 2, there will be elasticity. 2.3, price control. We have learned yesterday. 3.4 is tax, and we will learn next week will be what we call international trade. I mean free trade, tariff, and quota. And we haven't learned this one yet. We have learned that 3 concepts already. So for each chapter, this chapter number 4, chapter number 5, this chapter number 6, 7, this also 6, 7, 8, and this is chapter 9. Right. Now, to review the concept, the exam will include like theory and also calculation. Let's talk about theory first. You see that make sure you know the difference between change in demand versus change in quantity demanded. Anyone tell me the difference between the two? In supply versus change in quantity. Anyone tell me the difference between change in demand and change in quantity demanded? Anyone tell me the difference between them? Please say something so we do not sleep. Say something.
In my opinion, change in demand just a change in the demand, but in the quantity demands, it means a change of the curve of the demand.
No, that's not definition. Anyone else? Give me the better explanation. The difference between change in demand. Change can be like decrease or increase, right? Change can be increase or decrease, right? Right? Decrease or increase. Change here in increase or decrease. Anyone give me the better definition? The better definition. Anyone? Yes? We?
In my opinion, change in quantity of demand, the factor is the price, and change in demand, there are non-price factors such as income, prices of substitutes, complements, taste, expectations, and
Exactly.
yes, so on.
Yeah, you partially give the correct answer. It means that you already give the reason why there is a change in demand and change in quantity demanded. So in Vietnamese we call thay đổi cầu and thay đổi lượng cầu. So I'm sorry, I haven't recorded yet. Haven't recorded. Now, the difference between change in demand and change in quantity demanded will be like this. As we mentioned, right? We mentioned correctly, but just one part of the problem. Now, we look at the demand curve like this. Now, so when we have a price here and quantity here, so the change in quantity demanded, let's say point A, we move to point B. This one we call change in what? This change we call what? This one we call change in quantity demanded. This move along the demand curve. It move along the demand curve we call change in quantity demanded. And the reason is what we mentioned. The reason is the change in price. So to have the better answer, what is change in quantity demanded? You can say that change in quantity demanded is a move along the demand curve. And the reason for the move along the demand curve is the price. It is because in this diagram, we have two dimensions P and Q, and there's no other dimension here. Nothing about income, nothing about price of related good, right? Price of related good in another dimension, right? In this diagram here, only two dimensions. One dimension is quantity and another one is price, all right? So when there is a change in price, it just causes the move along the demand curve. However, if there is a change in non-price determinant, non-price is mean the change in other dimension, so it will cause the shift of the demand curve to the right or left. Now in this case, in this diagram, if we move from A to B, we call increase in quantity demanded. In this case, if the curve shift from the D1 to D2, we call, I said D1 and right D2, right? D1 shift to D2, we call increase in demand. If the shift from D1 to D3, they call decrease in demands. Now, if they move from B to A, we call decrease in quantity demanded. But move from A to B, we call increase in quantity demanded. But if shift from D1 to D2, we call increase in demand. If we shift from D1 to D3, we call decrease in demand. Okay, make sure that you can see the difference between change in demand and change in quantity demanded. It's okay. It's okay. If it's okay, raise your hand.
Yes.
I can make sure that you really understand. Right. The same thing for the supply. Supply with the same thing, right? This is supply curve, and if we move along the supply curve, right? We move along the supply curve from A to B, right? So in this case, this is what we call change in quantity supply, right? This is what we call change in quantity supply, right? And if the curve, the supply curve like this, it can shift to the left or shift to the right, right? The we call S1, S2, S3. So if it shift to S2, we call, what do we call? If S1 shift to S2, what do we call? If we shift S1 to S2, what do we call? So in the exam, I can draw the diagram, and there's a multiple choice question that the following statement like S2 will shift to S1, and this is decrease in demand, decrease in supply, or increase in supply, or increase in demand, or decrease in quantity demanded, for example, or quantity supply. Right, there's a lot of answer, but you don't look at the multiple choice question. When someone asks you, when we shift, yes, Joe, then this one we call decrease in supply. Exactly, right? This decrease in supply. So if S1 shift to S2, we call decrease in supply. If S1 shift to S3, we call it increase in supply. Now, maybe another question that may ask you, okay, for example, let's say this year because the weather is very bad, it's heavy rain all days, and then a storm, etc. This terrible weather badly affect the growth of the fruit. What happened to the supply of the market? So how can we answer? In this case, what will be the possible answer? The bad weather badly affect the farm. So what happened to this market? Anyone? Let me give you an example like this. We have a market, a durian market. We have durian, right? The durian market. Durian mean so red, right? And suppose we have durian market, and this year we have very bad weather. Bad weather affect the farms. But at the same time, research found out that research now many researchers in University of Technology, students from chemical engineering, they did a research and they say that it's very good for your health to prevent many type of contagion disease if we eat more durian. For example, I just tell something like that, right? It's very good to eat durian. So what happened to this market? Anyone give me the explanation for this market?
Demand increase.
And then
Supply decrease.
Are you sure? Now remember, two things happen at the same time. Two things happen at the same time. Two things happen at the same time. The first one, the bad weather will affect supply and demand.
Affect supply.
Supply increase or decrease.
Decrease.
Right, so supply curve shift to the left. Now, the research, positive research, right? It affects supply and demand. Demand to the left or right?
To the right.
To the right. So, what can we say about the change in price and quantity? What can we say about the price and quantity? What can we say about the price and quantity?
The price increase, but like the quantity is
The quantity, what?
Unambiguous.
Yeah, ambiguous, not unambiguous, not unambiguous, right? Now, because in this case we have two situations, right? And in this case, we know for sure the price definitely rise. However, the change in quantity is ambiguous because if this case happen, right, the quantity may increase, right? Is it? But this case, the quantity may decrease. So the best answer would be if two things happen at the same time, the bad weather and positive research about the quality and the value of durian, then we know for sure that the price will increase. The price will increase, right? But the change in quantity is ambiguous. Okay, so the question can ask you about the phenomenon like this, and if you want to answer such a question, you should know that which factor affect the demand, which factors affect the supply, or it may cause the decrease, the change in quantity demanded, or change in demand, or change in quantity supply, or change in supply. All right. So the question can be like this. Any questions about this one? This is what we call the dynamic of the market. Now let's take another example. This year, we have a better technology to produce coffee and tea, and the coffee, right? And then, but the research, the doctor say that it's not good for us to drink too much coffee. Now, if the combined effects of two things here, what happened?
I think the supply will increase, but the demand will decrease.
Yes, and then And then
the price will decrease.
and
Um,
and then the change in quantity. The change in quantity will be the change in price for sure. The price will decrease because in this case, right? You see, this is the equilibrium, and then the back information, right? And supply increase, right? So now for sure the price will decrease, but the change in quantity will be ambiguous, right? Ambiguous. Okay, so is it okay with this? The question will be like this, and you can now have to answer. Okay, this is what I call the question related to your ability to analyze. Ability to analyze, not a theory. It's okay. And one question would be calculation question would be like this. A demand curve will be 200 minus 2p. Okay, 300 minus, and this is demand curve, and this is supply curve equal to 3p. Okay. No, not good. Okay, let's like it. Find the equilibrium price and quantity. Find the equilibrium price and quantity. Can we find the equilibrium price and quantity? Can we?
Yes.
How can we do it?
We let two equations are equal and phi.
And so what is the result?
And the equilibrium price is 60.
Yes.
And
equal to, and quantity will be
equilibrium, the quantity is 180.
exactly right. Okay, so that's a very easy calculation. Now there will be a question like this: if the price equal to 80, there will be a surplus or shortage.
A surplus.
Surplus, how many units? How many units? How many units? At the price 80, QD equal how much? QD how much? Now let's say I make a P here and QD
140.
that's right.
150.
It's 60, then this one is 180, 180. Now if price is 80, so this one will be 160,
140.
140. QS?
QS is 210.
Okay.
240.
Right. Now there will be a shortage surplus. Surplus or shortage? Surplus how much? 100. Is it right?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Now, based on this one, we move to the next chapter about the price control. Suppose a government impose price floor at P equal to 80. Can you find the net weight loss? Okay, think about this one in few minutes. Find the net weight loss. Find net weight loss in this case. We just learned yesterday, right? Find the net weight loss. Can anyone do this? Look like this. We have demand curve. Q P equals 0. Q will be 300. And this one 150. Right, the equilibrium price will be 60, and this one will be 180, right? Okay, and now government impose price floor at 80. And then this one will be 240, right? And this one will be 140, right? Can you find net weight loss in this case? The exam question will be like this. Anyone can answer this one. Anyone? Firstly, you have to know which part of the diagrams will be net weight loss. Right. We have to know which part of the diagram will be net weight loss. And then we calculate the net weight loss. How can you do it? Can you do it? Maybe this semester we have the written exam rather than multiple choice exam. Written exam will be more interesting. But anyway, anyone can answer this one?
I think is 800, right?
What?
The dead weight loss is 800.
800?
Yes.
Don't know. Let me check. Let me check. Now, tell me which part. Why do you have 800?
I find the triangle between the small triangle.
This one, right?
Yes.
So at first you have to find the height,
yes.
right?
It is 40.
40 multiplied by this part, right?
I think that is 42.
Why 40?
Because the balance between two sides of the
No, you cannot do that. If you want to find this one, what should you do? If you want to find this number, if you want to find that number, you need special way. How? This is the most difficult one. This is the most difficult one in this problem. How can we find this number? It means that how can we find this distance, right? Now, anyone tell me the way to calculate this one? I haven't calculated yet, but tell me, how can you find this place? The easy way.
I think
Yes.
we find the price in the quantity of 140, and after that we take 80 minus that result to find that.
Now we know this one already. We know the high already, right? But how can we find this one?
we
I have the equations of the supply.
Yes, supply. You replace 140 to the supply curve. So in this case, it's not a beautiful number. So you replace this one. This one equal to 140. All right. So price equal to how much?
140 over 3.
Oh, yes. So this one will be 46.7, right?
Yes.
That's right. It's the beautiful the numbers. So net weight loss will be 40 multiplied by 80 minus 46.7. In this case, it's not a beautiful number, but in the exam, I will give you, because I just make this one, but in the exam, the number will not be like this. The number will be beautiful one, right? But anyway, so this is the dead weight loss. So the most difficult part of this one is to calculate the supply price. This is the demand price, but we have to find the supply price. The same thing. Now, what if government impose price ceiling? At 40. At 40. Now, if government impose price ceiling at 40, I draw on a diagram. Right. And this one, we have the price ceiling at 40. So at the price in 40, and the net weight loss will be this one, right? You have to find this point as well. Now at the price ceiling 40 and quantity P, QD, QS, and surplus shortage price. Now price 40. So QD will be how much? QD how much? QD will be 2. QD will be
220.
Okay. QS. Right?
220.
So we have shortage 100. Is it shortage 100? Now find that weight loss. you replace this point to demand and supply curve. To the demand and supply curve. Demand and supply curve. How can you find this point? Now, this one, you got 40, right? This one 60, right? How can you find this point? How can you find this point?
We use the demand curve.
Yes. To replace this one equal to 120. Right. So 2p equal to 180. Right? So p equal to 90. Is it? So this 190. Yes. And this 190, then what is that we lost?
The dead weight loss is equal to 90 minus 40 multiplied with 60 over 2.
Exactly. 60 multiplied by 50 divided by 2. Is it? That weight loss will be me. I do this way. It's easier for you to follow, right? Is it okay? So in the exam, if we have the problem like this, and it asks you to find whether this market surplus or shortage, and after that, calculate the dead weight loss. Can you do it?
Yes.
Can you do it? Yeah.
Yes.
Now, one more question related to the elasticity. Actually, all the problem in the problem set, if you look at the problem set number 2. Now, find the demand and supply elasticity at equilibrium price and quantity. Find the demand and supply elasticity at equilibrium price and quantity. Can you do it? Can you find the demand and supply, electricity of demand and supply, the price electricity demand and supply at equilibrium?
Teacher, you asked us to find the change in the equilibrium to where?
No. I just asked you to find the elasticity of the demand and supply at the equilibrium. Can you get it? Now, why 2p equal 180, right? You know why? Why this? Now I have to make it too short, right? Equal to. Do you agree at this point? I
Yes.
replace this one to the demand curve. This is the demand curve, right? Equal to 120. So this one, then, is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. But the next question will be find the elasticity at the equilibrium point. Very simple, very simple, very simple now. Now we have this equation, right? We have this equation, right? So let me do it this way. ED will be minus 2 multiplied by 60 divided by 180. So it will be minus 2 curve. And ES will be 3 multiplied by 60 divided by 180 equal to 1. So demand elastic or inelastic? Elastic or inelastic?
Elastic.
No. Inelastic. This is inelastic. This is inelastic. This is inelastic. This is inelastic. Because you know why it is inelastic? Why it is inelastic? It is inelastic because the absolute values of the demand elasticity is less than 1. Less than 1. Right? So if the exam question asks you that, okay, given the demand and supply curve, find the elasticity demand and the elasticity of supply and equilibrium. So you do that is, and then answer the question, right? Whether it is, the question will be, okay, given demand supply and elasticity of demand, elasticity price elasticity demand, right? Equal price elasticity demand and price elasticity of supply and whether it is elastic or inelastic. So the answer normally, right? The answer will be price elasticity demand will be minus 2 hertz, and then it is say that it is inelastic, and elastic supply will be 1, and the answer will be, if the elasticity is 1, we call it
Unit elasticity.
exactly unit elasticity, right? Unit elasticity. Okay, so the question will be simple like that, and if you know the answer already, you can easily find the correct one. So when we design the exam, the calculation, and then we have different answer, and if you know the answer already, you can easily find out the correct one. Okay, but one important and very difficult question will be, we have a market like this. We have a market like this. Suppose that something happened to this market, and um, it make the supply increase. Supply increases. What happened to total revenue of this market? What happened to total revenue? What will happen to total revenue? It's a difficult question. Anyone can answer? For certain reason, supply increase. What happened to total revenue of the market? What happened?
The total revenue will decrease.
Why decrease?
Because the price elasticity of demand is inelastic.
And inelastic then? Inelastic and then?
So if the price, if the supply increase, then the price will decrease.
Yeah. And then?
And the price decrease, and the price elasticity of demand is inelastic. So the total revenue is.
Do you agree with him? Do you agree with Laman? Do you agree with Laman? Everybody else? Do you agree with Laman? Yes or no? If you agree, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. Nobody raised their hand. But his answer perfectly correct. His answer perfectly correct. Because if the supply increase, supply curve shift to the right. Right? He got an excellent answer. And therefore, because the supply comes shift to the right, the price will decrease. The price decrease, but at the same time, you know for sure that the demand curve is inelastic, and when the demand is inelastic, the price decrease, total revenue will decrease. Is it okay? Is it okay with this question? So this question requires your analysis, right? Analysis, ability to analyze, combine knowledge and analysis. Okay?
Okay.
Right. Yeah, take a break for 10 minutes. We come back at exactly 2. Okay, we come back at 2. Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Now, actually, if you look at the problem set that in the lecture note, you have this one. If you want to do well for midterm exam, please do this problem set. And actually, just the remaining part we haven't learned yet. This one we haven't learned yet, but on this part we have learned already. We have learned already. So if you do well in all problem here, and I believe that you can do well for the exam. Now, and can you check with your lecture note? Do you see that one in your lecture note? Raise your hand. Oh, we're on people. We're on people. Now we have only 14 people. All people live. This one elastic or inelastic? Elastic or inelastic? Elastic or inelastic? Anyone, are you here? Where are you now? Where are you now?
I think it is elastic.
Why it is elastic? Because it's absolute value more than one, right? So if the exam have the question like this, make sure you can use the midpoint method, right? Midpoint method to calculate elasticity, right? Next question will be now key right? E equal to 1.8 and down to 1.6. If 1.8 is 100, and 1.6 is 150. So you can calculate the price elasticity demand, right? It's okay. Okay, so any problem with this one? Any problem with this one? You can do the same, right? You can do the same. You can do the same. And when you can do the same by E, right? Let me copy this one down. It will be 150 minus 100, 125 divided by 1.6 minus 1.8 divided by 1.7, right? Is that right? Is it right? All right. It's okay. And then we can see the next one. The next one will be 50, and this one will be minus 0.2. And we can calculate this number, right? So for those questions related to calculate the price elasticity demand, right? Now this comes to the income elasticity, the methodology will be the same. Now the next question will be a vertical demand curve would be elastic or inelastic. The vertical demand curve would be throughout its entire range, while the horizontal demand curve is. Anyone can fill this the blank here? Vertical. Now, anyone know what will we fill in this blank? Anyone?
The first one is perfectly inelastic.
And the second one is perfectly elastic.
And the second one is perfectly elastic.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So one is perfectly inelastic and throughout the entire range, while horizontal demand curve is perfectly elastic demand, right? Okay, perfectly. That is easy, right? Now, anyway, I want you to do the next problem. This problem is a typical problem for the tax, right? Now, refer to figures. Suppose we have $5 per unit tax. Answer the following question. What will be the price, buyer price and seller price after tax? And what will be the quantity after tax? Anyone can answer these questions? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone?
I think it's $10.
Now, how to answer this question? If you want to answer this question, the first step is to draw the curve. Is it right? Now the tax will be $5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you have to draw the curve like this. And when you draw the curve like this, so what price the buyer paid? $10, right? $10. The buyer paid $10. And the seller the buyer pay $10 and the seller pay how much?
$5.
$5. Okay, so you can answer question A and B, right? Now, how much burden of tax? How much burden of tax and buyer and seller have to bear? How much burden of tax that buyer have to bear? How much burden of tax? How much burden of tax the buyer have to bear?
Burden of tax on the buyers is $12, and on sellers $8.
Yeah, you mentioned about total tax, right? Total tax, right? So in this question, they do not ask the total tax. They ask you for every single unit. How much buyer bear? So in this case, we have $5 tax, and buyer bear $3, right? Is it right? Buyer bear $3, and seller bear $2. Is okay? Right. And the next question will be quantity for easy. Now, can you calculate the net weight loss in this case? The net weight loss will be this area, right? This area. Right? Net weight loss in this area. This area we have the height will be 2 and the base will be 5. 2 multiplied by 5 and divided by 2 will be 5, right? So such a question is easy, right? Very easy, right? So make sure that you can do such a problem like this. The calculation is simple, right? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? This problem will be the same as a problem that we already done, right? Already done previously. So try to do this problem at home. But now I want to come back. So this problem will be the same, exactly the same we already done before a few minutes ago. So normally you declare the demand and supply curve, and at this supply demand curve, find the elasticity at equilibrium, and then it there will be price ceiling, price floor, and where we have to calculate the net we lost. Okay, now come back to the lectures. So in chapter 2, right? In chapter 2, we have supply demand, elasticity. Now elasticity mostly but the theory. So when we talk about elasticity, remember that we have to let's say right. Okay, let's say when we talk about elasticity, so we will have three kinds of elasticity, right? The price elasticity of demand, right? The income elasticity, right? And cross price elasticity and price elasticity of supply, right? Of supply, right? Now, the price elasticity of demand, will have three values, right? Three values. The first one will be, sorry, I got. Okay, and so the price elasticity of demand will be, we have three values, right? Okay, at three values, then we have ED equal to and we have ED equal to percentage change in Q divided by percentage change in price. Is it right? So we have three values. It will be ED will be absolute value, right? To create absolute value, so it's a simple. Right, ED, we have ED, right? ED will be more than one. ED will be equal to one, and ED will be less than one, right? And so when we have this one, we call, what do we call? This one we call elastic demand, right? That's what we call unit elasticity, right? Right? And this one we call inelastic. And in the previous example, I asked you that the relationship between elasticity and total revenue, right? So if demand elastic, if price increases, and total revenue will, if demand elastic, if price increase, total revenue will increase or decrease? Increase or decrease? Increase or decrease? Increase or decrease?
Increase.
Demand elastic. Demand elastic. If the price increase, total revenue will decrease, not increase. You know why it decrease? Think about this. Demand elastic. It means that customers are very sensible with the price change. Do you agree? Demand is elastic and customer is very sensible. Sensible means they are very easy to leave us. So when demand is elastic, when you raise the price, you lose a lot of customer. And if you lose a lot of customer, then your total revenue will decrease. Is it okay? Is it okay with it? Is it okay with this? Okay, and the same here. The increase and total revenue will increase. But remember this one. Okay, so that is the price elasticity demand, right? So income elasticity, we have two values, EI be more than 0 and EI less than 0, right? So EI less than the products will be normal, good. This one will be inferior, good, goods, right? And for the cross price elasticity, we have two values, right? Also, EC will be more than 0, and EC less than 0, okay? All right, and so this one we have, this is in we call what kind of relation, what the relationship between them, what the relationship between them. What is the relationship between them? They are, when cross price elasticity more than 0, they are complement or substitute. Complement or substitute? Complement or substitute? Say again.
Substitute.
Yes, substitute. Substitute, right? It means that when the price PA increase, okay, let's say BP increase, and QA increase, if that's what is positive, right? And they are substitute for each other. So PP increase, QA decrease, and they are complement, right? The complement. And the price elasticity supply the same as the demand, right? And we don't have to mention much. So this is the theory. And sometimes when you calculate the elasticity and you know the number, and then you will know that whether it is elastic, inelastic, or if they ask you about income elasticity, whether it's inferior or normal. So any questions about the elasticity. And remember the determinants of elasticity. And the most important one is the availability of substitute. And this morning, I just remember that I got the memory last year. Let me show you this video clips. How can I download this one? Now let me show you this video clip. Now you see this one. Last year, when we have storm, and what do you notice here? Because no power, and then they have the generator here, and they have generator here. So because of flooding, right? And all people, what they have done? What they did? So it seems that sometimes, right, the cell phones, right, no powers, and because flooding, and then flooding, there's no power, and because of no power, and then they cannot charge their phone. And when people cannot charge their phone, then you see all of them get together, right, to charge the phone. So sometimes the product become very necessary, right? Okay, that is about the elasticity. Now, and about tax, price control and other anything else. So the exam would be like this. Tax. One more question. Sorry. Look at these questions. Now these questions, they ask you to find. Can you find consumer surplus and producer surplus after tax? Okay. You come to, let me show you. Can you accept to this one? Can you accept to Socrates? Can you accept to Socrates? Oh, let me show this one. And then you come to login, student login. Room name is Ethan. And you come to question number 9. Can you do this problem now? Question number 9, 10, 11, 12, 19. I know. So from 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So from 9 to 18. Can you do it? Okay, spend a few minutes. You have 5 minutes to do this one. Do it now. Can you accept to the Socrates? How many? I see nobody here. I see nobody in the Socrates now. 10 people here, but nobody access to Socrates? No, if not, we can stop here and see you next Tuesday.
Can you give me some time to do with this?
Okay, I haven't seen anybody on Socrates yet. Nobody in Socrates yet. Can you access Socrates? Can you come to Socrates?
Can you give me the link again?
Or have you ever tried? You come to Socrates. Yeah, I see the money on this already. How about other people?
We do 9 to 18.
9 to 18. Because we have done like 1 to 8 already. And see the 3 people. Now, question number 9. I see Lam An and Fan Lin only. How about other people? Just do it. 5 minutes. And see that some people did very well. Now let's start with this question. Now let's start with this question. Given market demand and supply curve, right? If government impose ceiling at 9, I copy image and I put it here. Right. Now, if the price ceiling, if the government impose government price ceiling at 9, then so the price ceiling at 9, which caused the shortest, right? And how many units? It will be 160 minus 80 will be 80. Okay, can you follow? Raise your hand if you can follow. Yeah, nobody here. Okay, thank you. Next. Number 10. Now, if government impose price ceiling, what is that way loss? If we want to find the that way loss, in this case, we have to draw curve, right? And this is the that way loss. Right? So that way loss will be, in this case, will be 40 multiplied by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 divided by 2. It means how much? 64. So 160. Is it right? Is it? So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 multiplied by 40, right? Divided by 2. So how many people give the correct answers? Question number 10, right? 160, right? Okay. Next. Ceiling. What is consumer surplus? Consumer surplus. In this case, did you answer this one yet? Question 11. So how to answer this question? Consumer surplus will be all right. They ask consumer surplus. So consumer surplus will be 80 multiplied by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So how much? Is it 80? No, it's not the correct answer, right? It should be 80 multiplied by we have to calculate this one. Sorry. This is the consumer surplus. And this consumer surplus will be one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16 plus 8 is 24, 25, 12. Right, means how much? 80 multiplied by 12, how much? Uh, 80 960. Right. 12. Produce surplus. Produce surplus will be, I think, okay. I will solve this problem later. Just do it, everybody. Just do it. And on next Tuesday, I give the solution for those problem again. Okay. Because not many people here. Maybe you are attending class or something and you do not pay attention. So we stop here now and see you again on next week Tuesday. Because next week Thursday we do not have class because we visit the company. Okay. So we stop here. See you next week Tuesday. It's okay. Okay.